I think we're watching the collapse of modern Western civilization. It's happening right before our eyes, and it, most people, I think, are oblivious to it. Those of us that have been around for a number of decades can see it, and yet at the same time, most of us are afraid or refuse to acknowledge it. It's happening everywhere in every small town, at least in America. I'm sure it's similar in the rest of the world, but at least here it is happening. Um, you go to a restaurant and you either have horrible service or they're short staffed or they're closing down altogether because not because business is bad, but because they can't find help. Uh, every retail establishment in this country, regardless of size, is having the same issue. The only ones that aren't having this issue are the ones who are sole proprietorships, because a sole proprietor is someone who is invested in it and wants it to succeed. But we're basically seeing the dying of corporations. Um, there are countless examples across this country. I live in a very small town. I've lived in very large cities. Um, the cities, it becomes a little bit less obvious because, like, oh, well, this favorite restaurant is closed now. We'll go to this other one. And they slowly go away until you end up with parts of town that are like a ghost town. Uh, but in a small town, such as the one I live in now, a population of less than 3,000 people, there are only, a handful, less than six restaurants. Um, Actually, I think there's about five. And they start suffering when one of them closes. You're like, oh, what happened? And I can't get anybody to work. It's a town where most people know everybody, and you realize that a really good place will shut down because he can't find help, or his quality will suffer because the people he hires are incapable or just refuse to work or won't even show up. Um, it's Everybody wants to do exactly what I'm doing right now. They want to be able to talk to this machine for 5 minutes, post a video, have YouTube pay them for it, and not do anything the rest of the day. Yeah, that's a nice dream. I'd like to be able to do that too. But what happens to society is it slowly disappears. I think a lot of it has to do with you can call it the entitlement that people feel they have. It's been going on my entire life. I'm 58 years old. But I think it really started to manifest in the 1990s when every school uh, athletic program started offering participation trophies. Everybody got a trophy just for showing up. Didn't matter what you did or even if you had any talent, just showing up was enough to get a trophy. So what that does is the people that do have the talent are discouraged because it doesn't pay them to better themselves, because they're going to get the same trophy whether they ride the bench or whether they get out there and hit home runs. Um, that mentality has carried that group of people into adulthood, and it was annoying a decade ago when those people entered adulthood. It's more annoying now when those people are in positions of authority, and you've got another generation rolling in that has grown up, from birth with that mentality. And here we are. We're in a position where I don't see a way out of it. Of course, I'm not, an expert in the field. I'm just someone who has been observant. Um, what do I think is going to happen? Quite simply, I think civilization will collapse. Uh, I just hope it happens slow enough that it doesn't happen during my lifetime. I fear it'll happen within the next 2 or 3 years, possibly quicker. Um, but that's what's going to happen. American society will collapse. I think it's orchestrated. I honestly think there's a movement in this country that wants America and freedom to be gone. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out which side I think that is, but I think it's there and I think it's real. And I think no matter who we put in charge right now, it's going to continue, because one person or one small group of people can't make a difference. It takes all of us. And the problem is, I think a significant percentage, possibly even half or more, of the people in this country no longer care. And here we are. Sad, but true. At least this is my opinion. And I hope and pray that I'm wrong.